Welcome, folks, to the DAFGL Fall Warzone Final. My name is Seymour, joined by Vaudable. We are here to crown a champion of this new bracket, and I'm so excited, Vaudable. I couldn't be more ready for the action-packed day that we are about to have. How you feeling, though?
I'm feeling good. I've been studying up on the competition, seeing exactly how the playing field has unfolded up to this point for the grand final itself. And let me tell you, this is going to be a great one for the record books of the DAFGL.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. You know, there's so much on the line, and not only in regards of a championship title, but this is probably going to be the last time these players, have a chance to, play for a championship title here on Warzone 1, here on Caldera. So there's a little bit more at stakes. You get to, kind of win with that knowledge that you were the best on this map. And going into Warzone 2, I'm sure that's exactly what they want.
Exactly what they want. I mean, it's only like, a week and a half away from Warzone 2, so this is a great way to warm up for that, get some good competition going, slay some noobs, do whatever you really need to do to come out on top in this competition, because it's going to be a long one, too, depending on how things go.
No, you're right. I mean, for format's sake, we can introduce that this is going to be a best of 5 for the grand finals. If the team coming from the lower side of the bracket does win out the first best of 5, we do get a bracket reset and have a chance to do it all over again. So long, treacherous road to see if you're going to be the team that is going to be taking the title today. And, to introduce those teams, coming from the lower side of the bracket, we do have Chair Force 1 on top of the bracket, 30 Bomb tearing their way through the competition. When you look at it on the bracket, Vaudable, you kind of see a similar stat line in terms of score going along the way. But let's dive in with these two teams. You said you've been studying up. Why don't you give me the deep dive right now on this 30 Bombs team?
Well, 30 Bombs, I mean, they have Aqueous, who's just returned from winning the previous year of competition for the DAGFL. So he's here trying to go back-to-back, be the two-time for the Air Force in this matchup, and SRTJ looking pretty solid alongside him as a duo. And then Bro Gamer, I mean, he's also a veteran from what we saw in the past. I mean, you watched him perform on a land stage recently. How did he look there?
I mean, I had a chance to, speak to Bro Gamer back at the ITSEC land finals, like you say. Definitely, a veteran when it does come to, these AFG tournaments. I've seen him around the block. Him and Aqueous have definitely, been here, done that. They want to do it again, especially Aqueous, the fact that he's going for another title right now in this championship spot. But it's not going to be an easy one when you look at these two teams going up against each other. Even, a little bit more of a dive in for this Chair Force 1 team. They qualify from the LCQ, so it hasn't been easy for this team. I'd say when you look at playtime, Chair Force 1 have had a lot of playtime in this tournament. The fact that they've had to fight through this lower bracket and really kind of grind these games out to get to this grand final. So it's going to be a hard game for either side in the sense of, I guess competition-wise for this grand final. I'm excited. When you look at it, it has all the makings of a game 5 in it.
Basically, I mean, we could even see a potential for that bracket reset, but we also have to go back to the history of the first series that these two played against each other, because we saw Chair Force 1 be the lowest seed since they came from the LCQ, and they got 2-0'd. It was the best of 3, so maybe a different game plan. It's a different day of competition, as you can see here as well, but Chair Force 1, they're the ones who knocked out every other team after they lost to the previous 30 Bombs, who were the number 1 seed going into this. So they made sure to take out the competition. They are executioners of their own, and they're trying to do that against 30 Bombs here.
Yeah, just eliminating team after team. I like that you bring that up because, the team that obviously we see in that winners round 1 versus 30 Bomb is not the team that we are getting right now for Chair Force 1. I mean, they fall to the lower bracket, and it seems like they've really risen to the occasion right now. I got to look at those semifinal spots, versus HGM Gaming. Both teams winning out 3-1. You can see that, obviously, Chair Force 1 has made those changes, and now they're kind of batting at the same playing field of this 30 Bomb team. Stat-wise, of course, the only thing is you got to look at this from the sense of AFG in a whole. I mean, this community, this organization that we've built is all about resilience for the community, allowing a place for these airmen to compete and have a chance to, have some time to compete against one another and really grow relationships outside of their own bases. So you look at this right now for Chair Force One in their own sense, they have to find that resilience in game to now go back against the ropes versus 30 Bombs and see if they can finally get their revenge.
Speaking about games specifically, there's other games that these airmen can participate in as well. It's not just Warzone. There's also Rocket League and Valorant, and that's happening for the finals on November 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time if you want to take a look at that. And both of these teams, they're competing for a chance to go to the Code Bowl later this month, which is crazy.
That's fun. It's not guaranteed if you win it out today, but a chance to play in the Code Bowl. The winner here then goes and moves on, if I'm not mistaken, to, matches next week to qualify for the Code Bowl.
And, I've been around, to see DAF Gaming League grow into something amazing. I've always shown a great support towards what they're building inside of the DAF Gaming League, because it's great to see, these airmen have a chance to just, relax, play against one each other. And, it might be for competition, it might be for a championship, but at the same time, it's about connections. It's about building a community. And I know a lot of these players, outside of games, they may still play with one another, whether you're on opposite sides of the bracket right now. In the future, who knows? We could see seeing them playing on a team with each other. So it's a great thing that's going on here in DAF Gaming League. If it's not, Call of Duty, you could find something inside of the DAF Gaming League that suits you as well. I definitely love seeing what's going on here, Vodable, and I can't wait to see who's going to be our new champion here inside of the Warzone final, because these two teams, I know, I've seen them around. I know this is going to be a good one.
All I want to see really is 30 Bombs live up to their name and drop some 30 Bombs. We're on Caldera, so it's going to be a lot easier than some of the other modes that are out there specifically for Warzone for them to achieve that. So hopefully we at least see one of them during these grand finals.
I'm here for it. At the same time, though, it's not going to be easy. You're dropping in a quad, a quad squad, with the other teams. So I wonder, if there's going to be some strategy going on between these two teams, because you got to think about it. Across a best of 5, you're going to have to figure out a way to get an advantage over the other team, whether it's trying to steal their kills, leech off of them a little bit, try to put them in situations where they can't get out of, draw the attention of the enemy towards you. And then you just kind of put them in a situation where they're like, well, now we got to fight out together. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams kind of rely on one another, throughout this best of 5, because I'm sure we're going to get different play styles in each game.
I'm excited to see the snipes coming out from Aqueous, because we saw in kind of the test lobbies and things of that sort where he was just going ham with the sniper and just taking people out left and right. So we'll see once we are now in it to the game itself, the first lobby of this best of 5, who comes out on top in the first game.
Yeah, we got Aqueous and SRTJ from 30 Bomb starting off strong. You coming out of that winner's bracket too. I mean, got to talk about this team. High hopes that, probably want to get this done pretty quick. They've already 3-0'd Chair Force 1 before, back in round 1 of the tournament. So I'm sure they're going into this with the mentality of, we've done it before. Why can't we do it again?
Well, hopefully they can have a repeat performance here. We'll have to wait till the lobby gets completely filled up so that they can get filled with the kills they are going for in this game. I mean, what is a modest number that you would say these players should, or these airmen, should go for in this first game? They're testing the water, seeing exactly how the competition is going to met out.
A lot of times when we talk about, Warzone kill races, it's always starting strong in game number 1. Because as long as you start strong in game 1, you set the tone for the rhythm of the rest of the best of 5. If you get that game 1 under your belts, all of a sudden you're feeling strong and confident going into game number 2. You find yourself up 2-0, and on your mind it's like, hey, this is where we can close it out. And if you can't close it out in the next game, you have your opportunities to close it out and make those adjustments if you start finding a little bit of resilience from your opposing team. So I think right now, coming out to game number 1, you want to have a high game. You want to make sure that you are just laying it all on the line. This is the championship, so just try to hit your highest number, I guess, in game 1.
We'll see exactly who starts out strong, where exactly they plan to go. If they're going to go aiming for the loadouts first, some of them just go and loot off the bat, and it seems like that might be the case here coming out from 30 Bombs, especially with Aqueous leading the charge.
Yeah, Bro Gamer, Aqueous, Spade. All 4 players dropping right on down to peak. Immediately catch a helicopter to it. I think they just sent that helicopter off the edge. They don't want to allow anybody to have it. So, you know, smart plays, you know, a lot of people might want to opt to grab that helicopter and use it to their best potential. But instead, you just toss it off the peak. Nobody can use it. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, both of them went for it too, which is interesting. I guess they were just having some teamwork there, even though they are on opposite sides of this competition for this grand final. They agreed ahead of time that, hey, maybe we shouldn't use the helicopters. There's a lot of other ways in Warzone to maneuver throughout the map itself, so they don't need to rely on that vehicle specifically for that.
Just firm handshakes and agreements, and then you go your separate ways after that. You know, you could even go into this at the same time thinking, all right, you want to have a strong start. You know, not a lot of teams in quads will have good starts if you're dropping in as just a duo. So I'm sure there was a little bit of agreement from either side of the lobby to at least work together to get your drop spot, loot up, grab your loadouts, and then move to wherever you need to be as a duo.
Well, let's see if we can get some kills on the board soon, though, because, again, as these lobbies tick down, eventually there's going to be less and less players on the board for them to take apart at the seams. And already it seems like we're down, like, what, 12 players in this lobby?
Yeah, it's going quick. You know, as we grow closer and closer to the end of Caldera, I'm sure the players are growing closer and closer to the line of impatience and just starting to run at each other. And it's just absolute chaos on the map. So you see Aqueous SRTJ, they start to, you know, divert from the opposing duo, looking for their loadouts, see if they can loot up as best they can, because, you know, down to about, yeah, what looks like 30 teams left in this lobby. You're going to start thinking about taking some fights, and here we get some action immediately. Aqueous striking first.
Took a little bit of time, but, you know, they just had to get set up first. They got the heartbeat monitor, making sure that they can figure out exactly where everyone else might be coming from. But speaking of the helicopters themselves, well, they have to deal with one already after they took one out of the playing field.
Oh, almost lost his head there. Almost catching a haircut, maybe a mohawk inverted.
Yeah, not the greatest way to get a shave. I'm sure there's better barbers that are out there for this team to rely upon, but they need to rely upon their skill, especially when they're trying to get that kill and somehow staying alive for the moment, trying to armor up, but not working out too well, dropping down, but even then, can't secure that kill.
A little bit of ring around the rosy, now time to armor up. A little bait on the inside, too, trying to use noise to the advantage. Aqueous, definitely a seasoned player in Warzone now through the window on the inside. Can't hit shots into this player, so with the Marco struggling to, you know, catch some sides. But here we go, chance number 2, and there it is. Nice. The elimination, the team wipe, too, on top of it. The only problem is, you look down in the bottom left, and Jay already in the gulag.
Oh, no. Not a great start to the first game here for 30 Bombs, but hey, the other team's probably looking pretty solid, and no, he's already out.
The Etra burst. That is a pain to see, too, because that's not an easy gun to use. Fortunately for 30 Bomb, it looks like Aqueous does have enough cash, so the buyback's going to come through. He's going to buy back his duo, and null and void. That never happened. We didn't see
it. They just don't really have an extra life at this point in time. So we got to see a cool helicopter battle just out of a Mission Impossible movie, basically, it seemed like. He said almost got a haircut. Well, he got a great one on the other player, taking him down. Didn't quite get a headshot. Would have been a lot cleaner, but regardless, was able to buy back his teammate, and they can just wipe their hands with what happened before and get back into the action.
One thing to mention, I guess, about this duo. I think when you look at the history of this team, a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the deadlift is coming from Aqueous himself. 4.0 kill death ratio, 3.7 to be exact, but I like to round up a little bit because that is an absurd number, and Jay's gonna break his legs on the way down from the shoot. Just gives up on that one. He says, Aqueous, you can buy me back. I know we're at 2 separate sides of the field, so you just buy me back again.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate there, too. I think we finally saw the first kill as well for the other squad of Chair Force 1. So they got up out of their chairs. They got involved in the game itself. And, hey, looking at Bro Gamer, he got a different helicopter. So maybe everything's out the window as far as agreements on maybe using those vehicles.
Well, Spade, too, just a little hot in the action right now. Going to find the full thirst with the throwing knife. Aqueous on the other side. Looks like some action happening with both teams. Bro Gamer's going to hop onto the roof, see if he can provide a little bit of Overwatch for this team. That's a helicopter landing. So he says, listen, we need to get out of here. Get in the chopper. Let's get out.
I mean, they got experience with airborne vehicles being airmen themselves, so we kind of know that's what to expect from these players. They pick them up, drop them off, do whatever is necessary, wait for Spade to clean them up with that throwing knife. Looking at Surgical as the game had announced right in front of us. So that's some great work being put on it so far by this Chair Force 1. They get another elimination. Need a couple more, though, so that they can rack up those kills, because right now it's still looking pretty even between these two, and I think Jay got redeployed and then died again.
Yeah, it looks like Jay is fully eliminated. So everything for this game number 1 kind of banking on Aqueous at the moment, waiting for that Gulag opportunity. So here it is. No game on the line right now for Aqueous and Jay. It's your burst. So this is not an easy gun to use. The burst is definitely not favorable for a lot of players, but looks like Aqueous, he's ready for it. He's, like I've said, a seasoned player when it comes to Warzone. C4's the back line. Not going to be there. Just fishes him out. And beautiful plays.
Well, there we go. I mean, looking at the scoreboard as well, he has 5 kills on the board, especially with that one from the Gulag, so looking pretty solid for himself. So he basically has to solo carry this team. The greatest thing about that, though, as well, Seymour, well, he's the one you want to rely on to solo carry this team. Looking at the stats that he's been able to put up in the last 7 days, 908 kills, 4.48 KD in Warzone. That's nuts.
He's prepping. He's been prepping, and already 5 kills in game 1. Solo Dolo putting Chair Force 1 to the test. Spade, I like this play that we're seeing from Chair Force 1. Looks like Bro Gamer playing a little bit of Overwatch, a little bit of, I guess, personal UAV going on right now for Spade. And at that same time, looks like Bro Gamer, he can shoot too. Nice shots coming from range. Going to find the elimination on the player. Looks like Spade's going to pick up everything that he can. I don't know if this is that how he plays? Is that what he sees? You ever see, you've seen Predator, right?
Yeah. You know,
Pro
it
Gamer
makes
is
sense,
Predator.
though. It makes sense, because, like, depending on, like, what they are using in the Air Force, there's different, like, infrared monitors that are out there, so maybe that's what he's just used to on whatever he is operating at the time, be it a drone, be it whatever else it is that is out there. So he could just,
thought of that.
you know, have a specific viewpoint for that. It's also neat, too, because Spade is a lot more washed out, so maybe that's what he's used to seeing as well.
It looks like I'm watching an episode of Narcos, though, at the same time. You know,
oh, man, you just need a tumbleweed to come out at some point as well.
Exactly. But, to the chopper gunner, and it looks like Spade wants to take to the skies. A little bit of a dogfight going on, but hops off the parachute, uses the wings, and flies soaring to another kill. That's 2 for Spade, 4 for Bro Gamer. Still alive for the other team, 30 bomb, putting them to the test. But this is showing some immaculate individual skill right there from Spade. The fact that you can control yourself on your parachute to cut the chute and still be able to hit those shots mid-flight is not easy to do.
Some great coordination happening between these two players, because we have like an Overwatch situation happening again, this time with Bro Gamer pointing out exactly which tent that the enemy might be waiting in, and then Spade definitely seems more of kind of like infantrymen going forward, trying to rush and storm them as best as possible so they can't wait out in their hidey hole, and it's working out pretty well for themselves, but no!
Oh, no.
Oh, Bro Gamer is down. Hopefully he can get himself back up.
Yeah, a little bit of a counter UAV coming out. He gets rid of Spade's Overwatch, and luckily the trade will be there, so Spade now rushing to bring his teammate back. And he will be able to. Plenty of time to get Bro Gamer back. So wonderful stuff coming through from Bro Gamer and Spade. Curious how Jay and Aqueous are doing, because now we get to see a little bit of that duo over on Chair Force 1 and the way that they play together. I don't know if that's good, if this solo mission from Aqueous will be enough to take this down.
Oh, well, he's got a helicopter, so maybe he's going to try and meet up with his teammate, make sure that he can be his own Overwatch for the squad of 30 bombs there specifically. But it looks like it's also helping him loot a bit more as well. So since he came back from that Gulag, didn't really have a good loadout to work with at this point in time, and has to build up kind of that economy for his team. Because looking at Jay, only $600 to his name. Not much you can really do with that in Warzone, so he's going to have to do his best to try and come back into this game.
See, now this is what I love to see coming from Jay. You just wait, glide in.
Yep.
Let Aqueous kind of clear out a spot for landing.
Yep.
And you can safely land with your teammate. Unless Aqueous just gonna pick him up out of the sky. Can you do this?
You can if you like time it properly. This is risky though.
Aqueous. Oh, not only is he in the Air Force, he's a licensed barber too.
Oh,
Cutting
man.
him up.
Almost. That would have been cool. I mean, they were trying to finesse on the viewers that are watching this right now, and that would have been some spectacular maneuvering happening there. But instead, took it easy a little bit. There are some shots coming out, so they got to be careful exactly where those are coming from and maybe try and clean them up.
As soon as Jay lands, he gets a speed token. So I guess this goes supersonic speed. But
There we
why go supersonic speed when you could fly?
Exactly. I mean, I don't think the shotgun's going to be too useful in this scenario, but who knows?
Maybe if you're going fast enough with the speed, maybe then you can cut the distance and use that. But no, I don't think it. And he's gonna find a ground loot Arma. This is definitely the meta gun that you want to see, because towards the end of Caldera, we're in an SMG meta, Audible. So what I want to see these Armas getting put to use. The Arma Guerra is disgusting for an SMG. Not only close up, but at range too. This gun is quite deadly.
We'll have to see if that's what's going to happen in some of these fights, just in close quarter combat, especially in these buildings. Luckily, they don't have to really run into anyone, but that's also not lucky because then they aren't able to rack up those kills, as we're seeing more of them come out from the feed from the other teams. So I believe right now the lead is currently with Chair Force 1 just by like a couple.
Well, as soon as somebody allows us to, we will get a tally check on that one. But I think there's a self-revive picked up from Aqueous. He's gonna have a UAV as well. Look at that Chair Force 1. They're not having as much of an easy time. It looks like they're rushing to safety on the inside. They're gonna take up residence to the local. Set up shop, see if they can, greet the locals with a couple shots to the window. Hello, goodbye, stay in your own house. This is our territory.
There we go. So they were tied, actually, for a piece for both Bro and Spade there specifically, and Aqueous had 7, and Jay only had a single kill at the time. But now we see Jay going down, unfortunate there. Did manage to pick up another kill, so they are tied yet again, just based on what we saw recently with Chair Force 1. But this is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be from the get-go in this first game, Seymour.
Aqueous, he's got all 3 in there! It's a triple kill for Aqueous! And he's going to throw hands for the last beatdown, so...
Not close anymore.
It's even more, maybe not a 30 bomb yet, but he is well on his way. Already 10 in game 1.
Whew. Looking strong, looking good. I mean, decent amount of players still left. Not as many squads as you would like to see, but it works out in the end. It's all going to come down to how he can position himself through the later ends of the circle itself, because when your second player is down, I feel like you're out of so many resources to try and rack up those kills in kind of a kill race style.
Chair Force 1 under fire yet again. From above, too, so...
Oh, no.
Gotta watch your heads right now. If you're not careful, you might lose it. Spade's gonna armor up. Get away. This is low ground. I mean, I don't know about you, Audible, but I've seen Star Wars before, and I know that this is not what you want.
Hey, this is what they're doing, though. They're getting the high ground. No,
Oh,
he
no!
couldn't escape! Spade! Oh! A disaster strikes the side of Chair Force 1, and unfortunate there, but we do see the tally. 10 for Aqueous, 4 for Spade, and still, it looks like the team of 30 Bombs has the lead currently, but we do get a Gulag. First one, I think this is for Spade.
And then Nikita, not a bad gun to have in the Gulag. This definitely should be a chance for Spade to come back, and fire gets it done. Welcome back to Caldera, Spade. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Worried.
I was gonna say you were the chosen one. You can't go down at the end of the rope, but maybe he is the chosen one. Back from the dead, second chance. Aqueous is going down. Jay's not alive either, so it looks like Chair Force 1 might be in an amazing opportunity to take game 1.
Oh, they might be. We'll have to see exactly what happens here for Aqueous as he's waiting to see if there is a potential buyback opportunity. But, I mean, still great work being put in by both of these teams up to this point. And Aqueous, I mean, I don't know specifically when it comes to this for UC more, but some of these games, depending on the format, if the team is out, then they are done for. But I believe this format specifically allows for the other team to buy them back.
If they're feeling nice enough, I guess.
Yeah, if they're feeling nice.
Only 13 kills, and they're going to be the winners of game number 1 because Aqueous and Jay only able to amount to 12 at the end of it. Spade's got the high ground now, and it's time that the tables turn. Rain and hellfire from above. Teammate revived. He has a self-revive in the back pocket, so allow it to come back to the playing field, though stuck in the gas. Not going to be easy to come back to this one. Spade has to duck down. Play for the regen. Bro Gamer going for the full wraparound.
It's all going to come down to how many kills they could wrap up at the end here. Specifically, we see 6 coming out from Bro Gamer, excuse me. So they are one off, and there we go. We do get the kill. It comes out. They are tied currently, I believe, based on the math, but we'll see exactly once we get the final total there. He does get taken out. Spade is down, and we'll have to see the final total.
It?
Is that it?
Oh, he's got the gulag, too.
He's got the gulag. Okay. You know, there's still a chance.
Although I think that was it. I know that was 13 kills for Chair Force 1, so a little bit of a Hail Mary toss cross map, but looks like they get it done in game 1, and I'm sure enough, you know, I'll wait to, you know, make the call, but it looks like Chair Force 1 kind of pulled the rag out from underneath 30 bombs, and they look like they're going to be the victors of our first game.
It was close. If they both went down there, didn't come back from the gulag, didn't rack up those last few kills, then it could have potentially gone to the other team of 30 bombs. But because they were able to get to 13, as you were mentioning, we saw 7 from Bro Gamer, 6 from Spade, and didn't see enough out of SRTJ. I think we saw 2 total, so barely edging out at the end to get the victory in game 1.
I do have to say, you know, I'm a little bit worried about 30 bombs after watching that because you see the coordination coming through from Chair Force 1, and it looked good. It almost looked like they were, in fact, trained professionals when it came to watching what they were doing on the map. And on the other side, maybe a little bit of an uneventful show from Jay. You know, it's only game number 1. Maybe I guess the outcome was maybe Jay just couldn't get anything going. You just keep on falling down the rabbit hole again and again of just having unfortunate gunfights. But even still, a close game 1. Aqueous almost able to deadlift the team to a first game victory,
close.
But just not close enough.
If he stayed alive for a little bit longer, racked up a few more kills, we could have potentially seen them get the victory. But that's the difficulty when it comes to kill races. You don't really have to worry too much about the strategy of the rotations and where you expect other professional teams to be, because you're just going for pub stomping and you're trying to get as many kills as possible. But it took so much time for both these squads to even get their first kills, and maybe that's what they need to adjust in this next game.
Maybe we're going to have to take a look and see, but they have some time to talk it over. We're going to cut to a quick little break while we get ready for game number 2. We'll see you on the other side with some more DAF Gaming League Fall Warzone. Welcome back to the DAF Gaming League Warzone Fall Championships. My name is Seymour, alongside me, Vaudable. We just got done with game number 1, where we saw Chair Force 1, the underdog team, coming from the losers bracket, strike first. Vaudable, talk to me about that first game. You know, first off, your first game for Warzone 2 to cast. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I've done a lot of other BRs that are out there, but Warzone, I feel like, has its own unique speed and precision that we expect to see from these players. And we saw a decent amount of that, especially from Aqueous, who was able to get 10 kills himself, carry his team almost to getting the victory if we didn't see that last kill come out from Bro Gamer on the side of Chair Force 1. The biggest thing I'm looking forward improvement-wise from 30 Bombs in this next game, SOTJ. Gotta not die as much, dude. I mean, we saw Aqueous, instead of going out fragging as much as he could, because we know he's capable, they're named 30 Bombs, have to go get some cash, buy back his teammate plenty of time. So if they don't have to rely on that in this next game, that's going to be huge for them.
Yeah, and you know, when you're thinking about this and the fact that, you know, from the winners bracket, 30 Bomb definitely, I guess, the team to beat right now. And obviously in the championship bracket, they've been here. They've played Chair Force 1 before, and they 3-0 swept them. It's not going to be the same as it was last time, because Chair Force 1, they take game number 1. They look good, brand new, breath of fresh air team that we're seeing here in the grand finals of our fall 2022 season. And now it's 30 Bomb in a situation where they need to adjust, something that we have yet to see for this team. So I'm right alongside you. I think, you know, if anything, you're going to need to see Jay hit a new level right now. Maybe not the game you were expecting in game number 1, a couple unfortunate events that you were living through for quite a bit of that first game. But if you could turn that around, start finding a little bit of coordination and dynamic between the two players on 30 Bombs, it's definitely something that would be quite scary to see, especially with the performance that Aqueous is already putting on.
Well, you saw like a difference in strategy as well, right? When it came to 30 Bombs and Chair Force 1. Chair Force 1, they stuck together the entire game. We saw them going around in that helicopter for like 99% of it after giving up the first one. And then afterwards, you're able to see some good work put in from them, just having an Overwatch player and then having one player on the ground trying to see exactly where they can get the view of everything. But SOTJ, as we were speaking about it, well, this is unfortunate. He's got to do that in the game itself and make sure that he doesn't get eliminated that easily once we actually get into it.
Yeah, exactly. Once the warm-up is done. But, you know, for Chair Force 1, who needs to buy a UAV when you have your own portable helicopter UAV and Bro Gamer? It's just... It's quick, it's fast, and the rhythm of this team is so coordinated that they never stop. And yeah, it was a photo finish in game number 1. It was close. These teams are only going to get better and better as this best of 5 goes on, as the day goes on. So you can imagine that, you know, Jay, we have yet to see the peak performance from this player. And going into game number 2, now we get a chance to see if they can turn it around and even up the playing fields.
Maybe the strategy was in that warm-up to just get knocked out pretty early on and just get that out of the way early so that he doesn't curse himself going into the actual game 2. That's my mindset for his strategy going into this one, but we'll see exactly what happens once we get into it. Again, talking about those differences in game styles, what we saw from 30 Bombs, they went completely different directions and it did not work out for them. We almost saw Aqueous go down so early against the player who was decently skilled at the beginning of it. He had to run away, somehow do some crazy maneuvering and duck and dodge away, eventually took him down, and that made so much time he wasted at the beginning of that first game.
Fancy footwork, good gun skill. I mean, what can't Aqueous do sometimes? You got to be thinking. And immediately, look at this.
There we
Picks up the chopper and open season. Maybe this is the plan that they were hoping to get back in game number 1. They didn't have a chance, but I have never, ever in my life seen that. And yeah, unfortunately, Jay's going to be already in the gulag, having to fight back. Nikita in hand, not the HR burst. Gas grenade too. It looks like going to be zoned out for a moment. C4 already low, 50 health deficit. Overtime's going to pop, and he's going to get the jump on him too. So yeah, Jay's not done just yet.
Hey, he's got a kill from that. So we already have a couple of kills on the side of 30 Bombs, which is nice to see. We saw him getting early with those shots, just gunning them down from just a stationary position, and then the gulag fight was won by SRTJ. So a better start, 100%, than we saw in the previous game.
Well, I mean, how long has Warzone been out?
A while.
Never, ever, ever in my career of casting Warzone, have I ever seen somebody do that? Drop onto a helicopter and basically swat flies.
That's why the airmen are built different. That's all we got to say on that one. They know the strategy. They know the way these machines work, and that's exactly how it worked for him to get those first 2 kills.
Just in Aqueous we trust.
One thing to note, too, Brogamer already dead.
Oh, yeah, in the Gulag. Spade was in the Gulag, too, so that is something to just note in the back of your mind, that both players from Chair Force 1, Gulag token already burned, so that is not what you like to see if you're a Chair Force 1 fan. Spade does win his Gulag, so he's going to be back, slowly just gliding his way, waiting for Brogamer to come back into the fray as well to see if they can land together, but it's going to already slow their start. Where you see Aqueous already kills. Now you got to wait to get back onto the map to start racking them up.
Yeah, and Brogamer trying to see exactly what he can do to get back. And we apologize again for the feeds themselves. They're playing on Wi-Fi, doing their best to connect to us and give us the best viewing position possible. But it looks like he's getting some good shots in there. We'll see exactly what's happening once we get an update from that. But no, he does get eliminated, so I'll have to get it bought back. But luckily, plenty of time for that to happen.
Yeah, plenty of time for Spade to get that done. The Nebula Bomb going to be armed in the area for Spade, so a couple players in the vicinity not going to be opting to play this one out. In fact, you look at 30 Bomb still hunting, and if Spade goes down now without the kind of backup and safety of your duo, we might be looking at it. Yeah, we might be looking at an early finish to game number 2, and 30 Bombs might be looking to even this up. Spades or SRTJ starting to find some kills too. Already a better showing than game number 1 from 30 Bomb. And you look at the teamwork and coordination coming out from the both of them, just feeding kills into each other.
Great to see. This is the start that we needed. They were not having the best strategy at the first game. They were trying to see if they can go on opposite ends of the map, frag out themselves, and then come back later on to finish off the scraps that were remaining at the end of this lobby itself. But now they know, okay, we got to focus on the kills first and then everything else later. It's working out so far. Only a single kill on Chair Force 1 compared to the 5 that we have on a 30 Bombs.
Well, Brogamer's back, so now Spade's going to have a little bit of a friend to work with in the map, but even still, you know, it's a marathon, or I guess it's not a marathon. I know, I guess it is a marathon right now for them, not a sprint for the team. I had it right the first time, Audible, but so you got your work cut out for you if you are Chair Force 1. Brogamer dies again, so Spade has to, you know, go back to step 1 now to get it done, but, you know, there's still plenty of time. You still have 28 teams left of the game. I mean, Warzone, I've seen crazier things happen, so, you know, I'm not going to count Chair Force out until the game is done.
Well, we just saw a nice headshot from Aqueous, so nice to see him putting those sniper skills I talked about earlier on to work. Wasn't really able to do too much because didn't have the greatest loadout before, but nobody's able to contest him when he's just chilling onto this silo. But as I say that, I just doomed him from behind. He's still trying to finish off this squad that's just waiting in the hills.
Yeah, he's using the 3-line rifle, too. A lot of players, you know, these days, they like to use the Granko, the anti-tank rifle.
True.
But, the 3-line also quite reliable, and you can see that Aqueous, you know, with the gun skill that he has, this is why it can also be reliable. If you hit your shots, I mean, this is deadly. But look at Jay cleaning up Aqueous, you know, the player that was tagging him up from behind. SRTJ looking to have his...
As you see, Aqueous not going to be there to help out Jay, so they split up, they look for clues, and the clue is not what you're hoping for.
Well, the good thing for Jay is that he redeemed himself for the first game. At least got another kill, taking a lot more time to get down, and of course, he already had a really early gulag, so we'll have to see what happens. He did get bought back there specifically, but oh no, Aqueous! He's getting down himself, but he's got that gulag into the tank, so he'll hopefully be able to bounce back afterwards, but we'll have to see how the rest of this goes down, because I believe, based on the feed itself, the other team is down. Oh no, we got Spade still. We got Spade still.
You got Spade still. So I was looking at that. I was trying to confirm. Spade's still alive.
Okay.
Not done just yet.
He's not done yet. He's only got 2 kills though. He's got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, definitely a game of catch up. I don't know if you've read the story, the tortoise of the hare. It was a race that took quite a long time, but that tortoise, it catches up to you.
We already have 10 kills now from the side of 30 Bombs, so much sooner than we saw in game number 1, where Spade only 2 kills to his name, so a lot to catch up. As you mentioned, tortoise in the hare, there is a chance for him to win the race at the end if we do see Aqueous and SRTJ, go down a bit earlier than expected, because they don't really have too many resources left for themselves. And speaking of resources, well, Bro Gamer, he got brought back from those resources by Spade. So Spade doing all the work for Chair Force 1 this time to keep them in this game too.
It's not much, but it's honest work right
exactly.
now for Chair Force 1. Victors of game number 1, so, even if you lose out on game 2, you still are, I guess, back to an even playing field then for both teams, and you get a little bit of a reset button, time to, talk it over amongst yourselves, but, that's only an if you lose out on this moment, because Aqueous is out right now.
Oof.
Everything's going to be riding on the shoulders of SRTJ now for 30 Bombs. Has to stay alive for the squad if they want a chance at this game too, or well, they've put themselves in quite a good chance already, but has to stay alive if you want to extend this chance.
I mean, there's still a decent amount of the lobby left, a little under half at this point in time, so we could see a comeback of monumental proportions from the side of Chair Force 1. Spade trying to again lead the charge with that. Couldn't quite get the snipe he was aiming for, but it's difficult when they're going that far in the distance and on a vertical trajectory. But instead, Bro Gamer, my eyes are going to be on him now, trying to figure out exactly how he can get his first kill on the board and also work together with his teammate to overcome such a lead that 30 Bombs have currently.
We saw this team overcome the obstacle in game 1. Aqueous put up 10 kills and they still beat him out.
Oof.
So this team has what it takes, and now both players up and ready to go. It's do or die right now in game 2 for them. Jay running for the hills or driving as fast as he can to get out of there with the Jeep. I'm not sure who that was or what they want, but it seems like they want Jay.
They did want Jay, but I don't think they will be able to catch up with him unless they also had a vehicle that was chasing him, which would be very entertaining to watch, but haven't witnessed one of those quite in some time during Warzone itself, unless you're purposely just driving around the vehicles and going for vehicle combat itself. But SRTJ, keeping his team alive, getting away as far as possible, trying to go to that redeploy. That's exactly what he's going to be aiming for. There it goes.
Aqueous back. Danger looms over the head of Chair Force 1. And now with Aqueous back into the fray, this is a chance to just extend that lead once more. Bro Gamer down again, so...
Oh, no.
You can see if he can get that self-res off. Looks like he's trying to, but not going to be easy. Spade doesn't have the best eyes on this situation.
No,
Bro Gamer down again. Full thirst going to come through, so all up to Spade again.
Could be it though. If Spade goes down, they are out, because I believe he also earlier on, both of these players went into the gulag at the same time, so you might see this one be just completed right if he does get taken out there. So we'll get some updates on that, but looking on the other side of things, still looking pretty solid for Aqueous and SRT, Jay. They have 9 kills at this point. They're getting close to their total from the previous game, and of course they want to rack up even more just in case we do see Spade and crew come out. But as I'm saying that, the health's going down for Spade, and he goes down as well, and there we go.
Game number 2 set in stone now. Spade goes down, and so do the hopes of Chair Force 1 coming back into this game. Well, it looks like he still has the gulag, so maybe scavenge the gulag token.
Nice.
Along the way, but... Yeah, so you say there's a chance.
That's all they need at this point. But it's a slim margin, depending on what weapon they get, I feel like. Some of these players are more confident with other ones. And how do you feel about this odd?
Yeah, FFAR from Black Ops Cold War. It's fast. It has a lot of kick to it, but it is the old reliable back now 2 titles ago. Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, no.
Spade, though. Oh, he gets caught by a grenade.
Oh!
Meets him, though, in the middle of the map, and he's going to find his way back.
There we go. Spade keeping this game alive by his lonesome. But speaking of keeping the lead alive, as Aqueous says he's got 7 kills now, getting close to his total from the previous game. SRTJ there backing him up. But Aqueous, not too much he can do. The guy gets past him. He gets stunned as well, so there's nothing he can do to prevent this from happening.
A little bit awkward at Aqueous. Now down and out. Jay's going to hightail it out of there with parachutes, so... Again,
Wise.
Spade and Jay. It is the tale of 2 players running for their lives.
Tale as old as time in Warzone. When the rest of your team's gone, you don't have much money. You just try to loot as much as you can to get that buyback, that redeploy, so that we can see if anyone can come out. And Spade's looking to do that pretty soon, but trying to stay alive as well.
And not sure if he saw someone there. But Spade. Lots of cash going to be scavenged from the ATM. Though he goes down. Cavalry, Spade. Not long for this world, and he's just going to be beaten down for the end of it. So it looks like game number 2 is going the way of 30 bomb. Aqueous is going to leave the lobby. And what a way to do it, too. I mean, that was a lot of pressure throughout this game number 2 from both sides, you know. That early start that you got out of 30 bomb, enough to kind of raise you to a level to close out on this one. It looks like Jay looking for just a little bit of confidence boosters at the end. But I mean, a game number 2 that you look at it from the side of 30 bomb is you really see the changes come from game 1 into game 2 when Jay steps it up a lot.
And that's basically a role reversal that we saw happen here, right? It was Jay saving the day for their team, getting the buyback on Aqueous multiple times throughout that second game. And then we also saw Spade carrying the ladle for his team, where Bro Gamer, he was just struggling to find purchase anywhere with kills throughout that game, somehow just getting eliminated before he could even get a good loadout every time. And that's a struggle, especially when you don't have the cash in hand to actually get one of those loadouts and make sure that you can be having all the resources necessary to get all the kills possible in this game. And speaking of kills, I believe we saw 12 this time from the side of 30 bombs. So again, getting the same total, but it's enough for them to get the victory.
Hey, you know what casters love to say all the time? Teamwork makes the dream work. And I think, you know, when it comes to this 2v2, you cannot do it without your duo. You cannot be the champion unless you both are working in tandem. And now with 2 games done, we sit 1-1 tie going into game number 3. Big question mark on who's going to take the lead in this series. A quick little break, and when we come back, the continuation of our DAFGL Fall Warzone Finals. We'll see you there. And we are back with some more Department of Air Force Gaming League Warzone Fall Finals. Minham Seymour with me, vulnerable as always throughout this day. And it's been fun. Throughout 2 games now, we sit tied, 1 apiece between Chair Force 1 and 30 Bombs. And, you know, I was interested after we got into this one because when we take a look at the bracket, you know, we felt like we knew exactly what we were getting into, Vaudable, throughout this. You know, you saw the 2-0 sweep back in round 1 from 30 Bomb over Chair Force 1. But then we get into our first game of the day here in the finals, and we see a little bit of a resurgence from this team, a turnaround, almost a new face from Chair Force 1.
Game of the day. But game number 2, man, let me tell you, this was like I was watching a series of unfortunate events because that was not what we got in game number 1.
It's like a horror movie when it came to Chair Force 1 because they were trying to escape whoever the monster was that was coming at them at that time of the game itself. And for whatever reason, they could not get past it because we saw Spade keep them in the game for as long as possible, almost to like the latter half of the competition in that round itself. But it wasn't enough for Bro Gamer to get some kills because he didn't have a loadout for the majority of that game, so he couldn't get the best opportunity to get those kills, rack up the points, and make sure that they could try and take on the monumental tally that's been racked up, by 30 Bombs. Because every time they've gotten at least, and I think it's been both times, 12 kills total.
Yeah, and you know, it's been majority out of Aqueous. I think game number 2 really saw Jay step up into a better form than game number 1. But honestly, I think game number 2, we saw Spade and Bro Gamer both get the Jay treatment in that game. I mean, they just were not able to get anything going. So hopefully in game 3, we see a little bit more comfort from this team. You know, back in game 1, we saw both teams work together to have a good start, and then they moved to their next point of interest. So maybe we go back to the basics. They work together to get that start that they're hoping for, and then they move on.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if that does happen. One thing that's interesting to note, too, both of these teams have a player on keyboard and mouse and a player that's on controller. Jay and Bro Gamer are the ones that are on controller.
Really?
So maybe that's why they might be struggling a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure. What are your thoughts on like the controller or KBM versus controller like matchup for Warzone?
Look, there's some cracked mouse and keyboard players. But aim assist these days, it just aims for you. I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason to play mouse and keyboard when you're competing in Call of Duty when the game literally aims for you. It takes a little bit to get used to the movement and everything, but that's just the way Call of Duty's built. It's been a controller esport forever, and I expect it's going to remain a controller esport for a very, very long time, if not forever. And when you look at it from the sense of the mouse and keyboard and the controller kind of aspect to that one, it's just something that's in the game that's like, it's there, use it. I'm surprised, people do compete with mouse and keyboard in this game, but at the same time, like I said, there's just some people on mouse and keyboard that are just levels above. They do things that don't seem reasonable.
Well, as far as we know, the players who aren't on controller is Aqueous and Spade. So, I mean, they are the ones who carried their teams in the previous games. So maybe KBM's working out for the grand finals here. We'll have to see once we actually get onto Caldera yet again. As Bro Gamer and Spade, they need to come back from not the greatest performance in game 2. They looked solid in the first one. They got 7 kills from Bro Gamer, 6 from Spade. Spade, I believe, got 4 at the end of that one, but Bro Gamer, just dire straits for him when it came to those kills. Maybe we see another maneuver where they try to use that machine gun on the side of the helicopter to get through the kills. That'd be nice.
We're going to have to see. Welcome to game 3, folks. Chair Force 1 looking to climb back as we're going to start off with them. Not the best game number 2, but hey, this is a marathon, not a sprint, like I said before, and we have a total of maximum 5 games for our first best of 5. And if Chair Force 1 wins, they're gonna have to do it again. So there's a potential that we go through 10 games of Warzone just to crown a champion.
I mean, that's definitely possible. I'm sure both of these teams don't want that to happen. Well, one team needs that to happen potentially, which would be Chair Force 1. They need a bracket reset at least to get the victory in this grand final because they came from that lower bracket. So we'll see if that happens, but we are going to be looking at the POV of Spade here specifically, and it's nice to see that both of these players are taking it easy, going for some loots in these houses, and just taking their time at the beginning of this game instead of rushing forward into wherever the fights are coming from.
Now, we haven't really dove deep into this Chair Force 1 team too much as individuals. For example, Bro Gamer, 2.14 kill death ratio, in Warzone in total. Spade, private profile. We have no idea what he is. A little bit of an X factor for the team. So the fact that, we see them working together, obviously they got a little bit of chemistry that, not a lot of people have, as we look at 30 bombs and Aqua is just barely missing that thirst, gets the down. But, sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Still gets the kill, so eventually that player is going to bleed out. And Jay and Aqueous both starting off with a kill each.
Nice to see from Jay and Aqueous. They knew that they needed to get started pretty early too, and it's a different flight path compared to the previous 2 games that we saw. So they have to start in a completely different area that we haven't really seen too much of. I believe at the end, and Bro Gamer here at the area that they're at, but unfortunately didn't work out too well for them. And speaking of Bro Gamer, well, things not working out too well for him. Spade's going to go back and try and get him back up with a revive, but we'll see what happens there, as I believe it might be a self-revive situation going on.
Yeah, Bro Gamer's got the self-res, so able to get back. Now just has to regen. Has the armor satchel too, so you have plenty of resources for Bro Gamer right now. Just has to be careful not to go down because you don't have that satchel charge now. You see, loadout's going to drop right on top of them.
Nice.
Not their loadout too. So right away, you think about that if you're Chair Force 1, and there's a team around you. That's a potential squad of 4 that is lurking around you. So I like this call from Chair Force 1 to opt out of that gunfight, go to your loadout now, and there's another loadout right next to yours, so you know that there's a lot of teams populating this area.
Speaking of other teams that are populating this area, we're seeing one in the gunfight going on with Aqueous. A drop down, gets the kill. What a finish.
Yeah, he just broke his ankles. That's disgusting.
Oh man, that's so nice to see like the movement that can happen in this. I know that the movement is kind of changing a little bit for Warzone 2. They're introducing dolphin dives again. That's nice, but maybe the bunny hops aren't going to be as viable as they were before. So it'll be a different way for these players to traverse the map in these future iterations of the game, it seems.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in the fact that I think the game in general is just a lot slower than, our past couple of titles. So I think that there's going to be a large learning curve for a lot of players going into Warzone 2.0, depending on, the movement capabilities inside that game. So definitely a curious thought that going to have to wait to find out next week, hopefully. As Aqueous in 30 bombs, 5 kills already inside game number 3. So 7 in total between the 2 of them, but that is just... He's just putting up some behemoth matchups, and Chair Force 1 looking to match that as well. Looks like Bro Gamer deep into the belly of the beast, putting up a lot of damage for the squad. Hops back into the Bertha. It's now Spade's turn to get into the mix. He's going to deal some damage, has to reload back into the fight. Cracks the armor again, but has to hunt this player down with tough kill, but he's going to get it nonetheless. And as a team wipe for Spade and Bro Gamer.
Well, there we go. They're at 7 kills themselves now, I believe. So they're doing much better than the previous game. Already just breezing right past that. And as we watched the replay, he had to really chase him down the entire time. Almost able to escape, but unfortunately there was no cover for that enemy player. So he was able to take them down in style. But speaking of taking down, SRTJ, no, the Gulag is his best friend.
No, every single time we see him in the Gulag, I think he's like 1 for 3, maybe 1 for 4 in Gulags today. So I think big strategy call for Jay is avoid Gulags at all costs.
Yep.
But you talked about strategies from both of these teams and how they vastly differentiate between one another. I think we see it in fights like that from Chair Force 1. The fact that they have to really dig deep for a lot of these fights where Aqueous, I mean, sometimes he looks untouchable. You really see Chair Force 1 grind to their peak level just to match that.
That's what's going to be a key difference maker, I feel like, for both these teams, because if Aqueous is the one who goes down, it's all relying on Jay. They might not be able to pull out the clutch win, but if we do see Bro and Spade work together, they'll be doing pretty solid. If there's only one of them missing, that's going to be such a bigger deficit for them as well, regardless of who is actually left on the other team. So both these teams giving it their all, and this is probably the closest the competition has been since game 1.
And for folks just tuning in, I mean, there's a lot riding on this grand final too. Maybe not cash-wise, but when you look at that chance to qualify for the Code Bowl, there's pride on that to represent, Air Force Gaming, to represent your airmen, your fellow airmen on the big stage in Raleigh, North Carolina. That is, something of its own that you want to play for here. So you can see both Chair Force 1, 30 Bomb really digging deep to see if they can come out on top in this grand final to have that shot to qualify for the Cold Bowl.
Oh, it's on both of their minds. You know it. They're focusing on the game, of course, and taking it one step at a time, but they have their eyes on that prize. The prize also of winning this league. They get some cool merch and Discord roles and things of that sort, but that's what they want to do. They want to showcase their skill in a LAN environment, but right now they are doing it on a line as we have the 4-cam up for this one, seeing the kill race going live, and currently it looks like still 7 Bro Gamer and Spade, except on the other side we see 8 from 30 Bomb, so really close between these two teams.
Yeah, you look at Bro Gamer right now is the Grim Reaper of Amazon deliveries, delivering Spade to gunfights and just letting him rip through their competition, as now they're looking for their next prey. This is what we got in game 1. This was their recipe to success in game number 1 for Chair Force 1, and I'm glad to see them doing it again. It's the classic right now for these two.
It works. What's not broken, you don't need to fix it, basically, is what's happening here for both of these players. They know their strategy. This is probably what they do in, casual games when they're playing all the time, and, having a gutter as well on the side. They're airmen. This is a comfortable environment for them, but they got to be careful, because since they are so far up in the air, very easy to be targeted by other people that are out there. It looks like there might be another helicopter chasing them down as well, or at least some shots fired from the ground specifically. So at least they're able to escape for now, but they got to get out quick or this will happen, and they drop down and they go back down.
Spade plummets to the gulag. I was going to talk about that too. We're so late into this game. 23 teams left, and now Gulag's remaining. Spade currently in his. You still have one if you're Aqueous and Bro Gamers, so you still have a lot of resources for both teams, but Spade goes down, so now a lot riding on the shoulders of Bro Gamer. Has enough cash to buy back his teammate, so will be able to get his team back to full strength. Just you got to find that buyback station. You gotta get it going.
Okay.
We see Broken.
Aqueous is right next to him, so he's trying to take the helicopter for a second, but he's leaving it. He's not going to be that mean. Man.
You guys want to take your chopper and go try to steal our kills or go hunt for players? We're okay, traversing through the fields with our own 2 feet.
Oh, man. They're just looting the same area. Keeping an eye on each other's backs. They want to make it so there's some great competition. They got that helicopter back. It's still a bit wounded, though, so we'll see exactly how useful it is, if it's going to stay up long enough, or we have a similar take 2 of them getting dropped from a helicopter. But now we take a look at 30 Bomb to see how they're doing.
Maybe Aqueous hopped in the chopper, and he's like, "Whoa, this is a ticking time bomb." He gets out now into the fray, into the heat of battle. See the Armaguerra in hand. Look at that thing beam. Another one bites the dust. 7 kills for Aqueous. Looking for more on the inside. There it is. Triple kill collateral. That is 10 kills, double digits for Aqueous, the main slayer of 30 Bombs.
Second time today he's been able to do that. Did that in game 1. Almost got them the win, but looking at the replay, Bro Gamer was trying to swoop in and pick up some of those kills and steal it right from under their noses, but did not happen in time. Instead, it was Aqueous who was able to get that triple kill, as you mentioned. Huge momentum for him to potentially take the win for 30 Bombs, but still not far behind is Chair Force 1.
No, we see just a lone Spade on 4. Again, we're in a situation almost reminiscent of our first game of the day in more things than just one. We see the helicopter shot coming out from Chair Force 1. And now we see, Jay not having the best performance for 30 Bombs. There's a lot of the Aqueous show going on right now. You got 3 kills for SRT Jay. Now looking for number 4. There it is. And no, that was only number 3 for Jay. So again, it's just, it's like that performance back in game 1 where Jay's not having, as much of a performance of Aqueous. So maybe there's a chance for Bro Gamer and Spade to utilize their teamwork to see if they can try to overcome these two players.
And all those kills from Jay came in like the first 2 minutes or so of this game. So he's been having dire straits trying to find some enemies to finish, or not even finish, because he's been finishing people off, but it's mainly been to assist his teammate Aqueous. So maybe they're trying for a different strategy this go around to see where the biggest population of players is, because looking at the player count, there's still a decent amount of teams and players still remaining, and they haven't found anyone in some time.
No, so Chair Force 1 are going to take the skies once more.
Old Faithful.
Yeah, Old Faithful indeed. You know, I wasn't kind of hating on the fact that they were playing together quite a lot, these two teams. You know, Art of War, you know, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Indeed. Well, Aqueous doesn't need to keep his enemy close on that one, just guns them down, so pretty solid maneuver from him, but he's just waiting up the top of the ladder. The player has no idea what's happening right behind him, too. Still hits him down with a melee, and no, he's not going to finish him off just yet. Had to reload, and then just two taps him. Nice eliminations coming out for 14, the highest total we've had so far today.
Yeah, right now, Aqueous just Gandalf the Gray on the brink of, you know, leveling up to Gandalf the White. You shall not pass anywhere. At all. No. The gatekeeper of Caldera. And now looking at Spade as they go to the peak. If you want to make a comeback, if you want kills in Caldera, go to peak. You'll find someone.
Worked out okay, I guess, in the previous iteration of these games, where we saw in game number 1, they started on peak, but didn't really get too much afterwards. But here we see a replay on that play, the breakdown of it, pretty nice. But we're also seeing Spade breaking apart the competition that is out there, getting his 5th kill. So it took some time for him to get that. He's been staying at 4 kills for like a couple minutes at this point. So nice to see that the drought has been ended for him, but will that be enough for them to come back and pull off a win?
Have to wait to see, you know, strap in and go along for the ride. Actually, you know, Chair Force 1, 6 kills for Bro Gamer, Spade on 5, so not too far behind Vaudable. And the fact that all 4 players still alive, you know, Bro Gamer still has his gulag too, so
true.
There is good running right now from both. And it looks like they both have a helicopter now. Why not? Why not?
I mean, sometimes you say less is more, but 2 helicopters is greater than 1 is all I gotta say on that as well. And they're just having fun trying to spot out people and see if they'll shoot at them, because maybe they're trying to bait some shots, but a lot of these players playing very passive from what we've seen, maybe camping out, waiting for the later rounds of these circles, don't really have too many resources as far as cash goes to buy the greatest maybe UAVs or whatever other abilities they need, even their teammates come out. But we do see it down here from Jay, finally getting more than those 3 kills he had in the first few minutes of this game number 3. So he's adding to the total now. I believe it is going to soon be 19 kills total for 30 bombs.
Actually, interesting plays right now going on between 30 bombs. You see Aqueous is just on a solo mission.
Yep.
Completely disconnected from the rest. But, you know, however, I'm not too worried about it, because Jay, as long as he lingers around these 2 players of Chair Force 1, not only do you have the chance to pick off their kills and maybe steal them away from the team, but you also have, you know, an advantage in numbers. 3 players definitely better than 2. So, you know, the fact that Jay is having trouble staying alive in general today, sticking with the enemy team might not be a bad strategy. There's a safety there in having 3 players.
We'll have to see if that does pay off towards the end. It did look like Bro Gamer got a lot closer to the scoreline that we saw as far as kills go for Aqueous, so might be a little bit worried here. Did see someone cross his sight line, but wasn't going to push on his own until he got maybe a better angle on that and see exactly where they're coming from. But Bro Gamer able to get a kill himself now at 11, but it looks like he might get a self-revive. We'll see if that happens, or if he's going to be going down himself with Spade, not looking in the best position either.
Bro Gamer and Jay both trying to get away. Jay was down on the ground, but able to self-revive for himself. Still coming away with a kill. It's number 5 for SRTJ. Aqueous loses out on the opposite side of the map, so now Jay loses his teammate. Still has the gulag, so chance for Aqueous to come back, and wow, crazy. I don't know why I'm ever worried when I see Aqueous.
I mean, I think he, only lost like one gulag, if that, so far today. So he's doing pretty well for himself. But also kill-wise, we are past the 20 total for either team. What we are seeing on 30 bombs, they're looking pretty solid. Almost there when it comes to the side of Bro Gamer. As he's got 12, I think Spade still has 5. So doing pretty solid for themselves, but not enough to catch up just yet.
No, Jay is making sure that this lead that Aqueous is giving is held at arm's length. You know, just a little bit of a buff from your duo, and that's enough to put 30 bombs in. Quite a bit of a lead here with Spade. Pistol in hand, gonna spot somebody ratting in a corner, and nobody likes that, so immediately gonna execute him. And number 7 gonna be picked up for this player of Chair Force 1. Jay actually died somewhere, so now it's Aqueous' turn to stay alive for the team, and I'm sure that 30 bombs aren't too worried. You know, you wanted to see a 30 bomb, and this is so far the closest we've got to 30 bombs getting a 30 bomb.
True. We hope to see it, but there's not many players remaining, and even the players that are remaining, it feels like they're just staying stationary, waiting in these buildings, just camping it out as best as they can. But look at Spade, not a great situation to find himself, and especially as he goes down there, and I don't believe there is much of a chance for them to come back unless Bro Gamer pulls it off himself. I mean, they've got 20 total themselves, so they're doing a lot better than they were in the previous games. This is the best performance we have seen out of Bro Gamer, but we need more from them, especially because of the way that Aqueous is playing.
Now you see the neighborhoods of Caldera aren't the kindest. As soon as Spade turns it over, you see the hills have eyes, and they are always watching, and ends up getting blindsided by somebody, I'm sure, hiding in a bush.
Yep.
And now it looks like actually Jay's going to get brought back by Aqueous, so that's going to put 30 bombs into an even better situation for this game number 3, looking to finish on a high note, maybe even a dub. I mean, we haven't seen one yet today, so I think that we are in a great position to see if actually these 4 can come away with a victory at the end of this Warzone run, as Aqueous looking for yet another player. Man. Nice shots to the wall, though. Going to get tagged up and spotted, so I know exactly where Aqueous is. He's trying to work around this tent, just a little ring around the rosy action. Not a lot of information for Aqueous at the moment.
For him. Yeah, trying to see exactly where he's coming from, but it might be a better idea, like he's doing now, to disengage a little bit to a different angle and just wait for his chance. But they might have heard the parachute be pulled, and it's hard for them to come back in time. But, oh, as I say that, I knew they heard it as well, because it's a very audible noise in this game itself. 17-5, 8-12. It all comes down to what we see here from Bro Gamer, who is using the truck.
Yeah, he's got the Bertha, and he is trucking through the competition. He's got to find a lot, though, at the end here. There's only 10 players remaining, or 20 players remaining, 19 including himself, so
they need 3 kills. Currently 22-22. It's possible, but we got to see him clutch it up.
I mean, if anybody's going to clutch it up, it's going to be this guy right here. Trophy system right onto the Bertha, so a little bit of a backup plan, a little bit of...
nice.
Okay, ooh, he's going to get Spade back. I thought for a second he kind of alphaed it and brought back his whole team, but he's only going to bring Spade back to it.
They need all the help they can get at this point, especially because it's getting down to dire straits when it comes to trying to find those enemy players. And the players that are in these later circles...
Oh, no! He gets downs. Bro Gamer, as soon as he runs over, you see the avenging of that fallen comrade comes through, and now it's down to Spade. A little bit of a passing of the torch from player to player from Chair Force 1. And this is the issue with coming back so late and being Bob Black. He doesn't have a loadout. He doesn't have his weapons of choice. This is ground loot that he has to play with now.
Oh, this is going to be rough, too, because he needs 2 kills to come out on top. I believe they're only separated by a single kill at this point. We did see some shenanigans from Bro Gamer, but it wasn't enough, and he got a little overzealous on that play. It was a nice clip, probably tweeted out later, but still not enough for them to get the victory in Game 3. They want the advantage, maybe not just the viral plays itself. Instead, it's going to come down to Spade, as you mentioned, with that ground loot. If he can get to that drop, I don't think he's going to go for it, though. Do you think he's going to go for it?
Oh, it's on the other side of the circle.
Yeah, I don't think he can.
Walk through no man's land to get that. And immediately, with Spade's look, I mean, the fact that we saw him turn a corner and get blindsided by probably somebody sitting in a tree or a corner or something, and I would be quite content to just sit and wait for, you know, maybe a passing enemy.
Yeah, we're switching around the different perspectives to try and see what's happening. Oh, okay. He's getting luck. Okay.
Look at that. He's got a Cooper carbine now, and I think an Armaguerra. This is quite the level up.
So much so. I mean, a blessing to say the least, but will that blessing be enough for him to find somebody? Because the numbers are going down even more so. Only 10 other players remaining in this lobby. A couple more squads that are out there. Again, apologies for the view of this right now, but players are on Wi-Fi, so we're dealing with some of those issues as we can throughout this. But nonetheless, looks like someone's going for a buyback potentially, but circle closing even more so, and it's getting down to the wire.
He doesn't have enough cash for the buyback.
Yeah.
Jay's paying it. I don't know if Spade's getting completely fooled right now, or no, he sees somebody just over the horizon.
Mind games. That's what's happening.
He's got to wait for this one. You got to find the right chance to strike if you're Spade. Like you said, blessing in size, getting the guns, but you got to put him to the test, and it's not going to happen. Game number 3. I mean, it was a long, treacherous road. You get all the way down to the end game, but Spade, he just could not get it done. You pick up that Cooper carbine, you have the Armaguerra, you just cannot spot out any enemies, and by the time you do find them, they see you too. And, you know, again, it goes back to what I said earlier on, Vaudable, is towards the end game in situations, there's power in numbers. And only really being alone in the end game, that is not good looks for Spade.
I'm sure someone saw him from a different angle, called it out to their friend who was just waiting on the high ground in that little like dugout sort of situation and just gunned him down towards the end. It's like, there's got to be someone laying prone there, waiting for their teammate to get the call. And then that's exactly what happened there. So unfortunate. 1 kill away from tying up that game specifically, but unfortunate to say the least for Chair Force 1 because they were so close to coming back, and I feel like it all went downhill after we saw the birth of play coming out from Bro Gamer because he was so confident. He's like, "Oh, we got this in the bag. They're dead. We only need 2 kills." He got a cool like run over kill, and it wasn't enough.
Sometimes, you know, that's the way it goes in Warzone. You know, you bite off a little bit more than you can chew and you get punished for it. And Bro Gamer there, I mean, you buy back Spade and you completely go on a mission impossible to see if you can, I guess, go hero mode for your team. I don't know what that play was with the birthday. You get the 1 full knock. I think the opportunity, you know, arises and he kind of seized it immediately. But I guess, unfortunately for Chair Force 1, they can't make the comeback, but fortunate enough for 30 bombs. They now go back-to-back in games, and they're going to be the leaders right now, Vaudable, going into Game 4. So a little bit of a split through Game number 3. And as we get ready for Game number 4, it's their chance to kind of sit down and, you know, get ready to try to put this away before we get that bracket reset for 30 bombs. Now, match point, this is their opportunity.
Yeah, we'll have to see going into this next game. No breaks allowed at this point in time because we want to get into the action as best as we can to see how this next one's going to be happening. So we'll see for this next one. Looking at the bracket currently, I mean, down to the wire for both these teams, I feel like, to get to this point. 30 bombs, they've had a bit of an easier run. They only had to play 2 series to get there. Chair Force 1, they've had elimination looming. They've gotten the victories every time. They almost got eliminated after dropping from 30 bombs into that lower round 1. So nice to see that they could do it. Maybe they can do it here and force at least a Game 5.
Yeah, you lose out to 30 bombs. You go down into the elimination bracket, and that first match, 2-1 victory in the best of 3. So this hasn't been an easy road. This hasn't been an easy road at all for Chair Force 1. But it's still a road that, you know, they have risen above, and they've come out looking like literally risen above. And they come back, though, on the other side of the horizon looking like a brand new duo. Going into this grand final, I was a little bit worried about them. You know, you lose 2-0 in that round number 1. You don't want to have history repeat itself in this grand final, and it hasn't. I think that this, you know, this team in Chair Force 1 have, I guess, found a new level because every single one of these games, you know, except for game number 2, but that game number 2 was unfortunate for them. But games 1 and 3 were extremely close, and the competition is tight between these two teams.
It was what, 2 kills in that first game, or 1 kill actually, 12-13, where we saw Chair Force 1 get the victory. And then this one, it was I think 22-21 between the 30 Bombs team and a Chair Force 1. So one kill differential every time we've seen it go down to the wire. Apart from that game 2, as we mentioned, that was just an outlier. It seems like, especially with Bro Gamer's performance in that last game. I mean, carried his team forward, but it wasn't just him. We talked about that dynamic again there, Seymour, where Jay needs to really step it up for his team, but also Aqueous. I mean, he's on God mode at this time.
He's always on God mode. I don't think he ever shuts off God mode, and that's what's scary about Aqueous. I think I think you put it best at the end there. Chair Force 1, it's like their road to success works with their team. If they're working together, they find success. And at the end of that game number 3, you saw them divert from the plan. They go back to what we saw in game number 2. They kind of go on some solo missions, and it blows up in their face. You have to wonder what happens if they play together at the end of that game number 3. They could be looking at an advantage right now in the grand finals. They could be looking at a chance to reset the bracket here in game number 4. But instead, backs against the ropes, vulnerable. I mean, this is their chance to show us what they're really made of.
This is potentially their last chance, too, because if they lose this game, they lose the grand finals itself, get the runner-up medal, I guess, a participation at this point in time, but also some cool merch that's out there for the DAFGL, excuse me. But it's been some great competition so far up to this point. I hope that we see a similar matchup compared to like game 1 and 3, not a game 2 situation, because that would be so upsetting if that's the way it goes down. But that's just how these Warzone kill races go.
You never know what you're going to get. You just have to accept it when you do get it. It's unfortunate enough, and it might be a little anticlimactic, but if you're looking at that from the point of view of 30 Bombs, I'm sure they'd be happy to receive a win like that at the end and, move into, I guess, that qualification spot for the Code Bowl, have a chance to qualify for the big stage. We keep talking about a lot on Warzone today, and I know this is the Warzone finals that we're going to be looking at, but folks, don't forget, too, there's more action in the DAF Gaming League than just this. I'm pretty sure we have coming up soon, Rocket League and Valorant, too, for the DAF Gaming League happening on November 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That's what you got to watch out to see more action here for the DAF Gaming League, and I'm sure if the action is as good as it is today, you do not want to miss it.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great time, but we're also going to have a great time once this lobby is finally filled up and ready. And you can see Bro Gamer, he's getting prepared, getting all warmed up, the grease is out, and he's making sure that everything is set and ready to go for this next game. Potentially the final game if they do fall here in this best of 5, because then it'd be a 3-1 finish. At least they could say if that does happen, and this is just a potential that, hey, they took a game against one of the best teams that are out there, because they only dropped a game so far in this bracket, talking about 30 Bombs, up to this grand final.
5 seconds left, and then this is it. Crunch time for Chair Force 1, Vonable. Now, if you're going into, a game 4 setting, down a match, on over your head lays, potential elimination from the grand finals. What's going through your mind? What are you talking about in this situation?
I am listening to the best tunes that I can to get in the game, get in the zone, and just make sure I don't focus on any of that extra noise that's out there. I want to focus on getting those kills, working with my teammate, especially if you're Chair Force 1, because that is where they are comfortable and also their best from what we saw. So if they can do that, if they can get that flow state going with those kills early on in this game, that's going to be key for them.
Dial in and vibe. I love it. 30 Bombs, they've been doing it all day long. Chair Force 1, it's their turn to, sit down and strap in for this roller coaster of emotions that could be the rest of this grand final. As we hop into Caldera, as we hop into game number 4, folks, you got to get ready. This could be it. Aqueous and SRTJ, match point in the grand finals. Bro Gamer, Spade, looking to face those odds and rise up to oppose.
Well, for those loot boxes as best as they can. Oh no, Spade.
Oh, that was a helicopter. He got chopped to bits right at the start.
That's unfortunate. Aqueous has to escape as well. Make sure that he can get away from this helicopter. No, he can't. No, he's gonna fall. Using the self-revive, at least he got one of those from the cargo boxes, but I don't know if he'll be able to escape too much. The Blaze are really close. So is the player, and he takes him down. They were feasting for some famine on that play.
I'll take things you hate to see for 300.
Ooh, things you like to see, though, is Spade getting that nice drop-down kill.
Yeah. He's going to come back to Caldera better than ever, stronger than ever, you know. What
Smarter
doesn't
as
kill you
well.
makes you stronger. Yeah, we went two very separate ways in genre of song, but, you know, they both apply.
It's all about getting those tunes and getting your groove going. That's what we're talking about here as well. I mean, we started at the peak, started at the top, and now we're here instead of the bottom, basically, for this map at this point in time. So we see a different aerial vehicle that maybe they'll use that to get around the map. Talking about Bro Gamer and Spade, because that seems to be their favorite thing to do in these games. But right now they're just focusing on looting up and making sure that they can recover from losing that Gulag token so soon. Speaking of the Gulag token, we see Acquiesce try their best to make sure they can get the high ground and get this kill. They've been successful so far, and yet again, not even a single point of damage on them.
That's the automaton for you. As soon as you get those first shots, you do not lose that battle with the gun. Whoever was on the receiving end of that 1v1 did not know what was going to hit them. And so actually he's going to join the matchup again. And, you know, something to really note are the fact that, you know, these Gulag, or these Gulags being burnt so early for these players.
True.
Last game, in game number 3, they had those Gulags lasting all the way to the very end. So the fact that you lose it right away for both 30 bombs and Share Force 1, you don't have that cushion of comfort underneath you anymore. If you lose now.
Well, talking about people camping in bushes that we saw towards the end of the game, there's just someone just chilling in a bush, like maybe AFK. Oh, there's a whole squad is waiting there, basically. But there we go. The snipe comes out, takes them down, and eliminates them as well. So some quick kills coming out from Acquiesce to make sure that he could come back from that early Gulag.
It looks like the Knights of Knee found their shrubberies.
Oh, man.
Please tell me you knew that one.
I have heard the reference, but I don't know exactly where it is from.
It's Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
Okay.
Amazing
I thought
movie.
So. It's been a while. I mean, that movie came out so long ago, too. I need a rewatch is basically what I'm saying at this point in time.
Hey, honestly, get on that, because I already watched that the other week, and it was still just as good as ever. Just like this grand final, just as good as ever. Since the game 1 all the way now into game 4, this competition has been tight. And the fact that all players, or a majority of players, don't have that Gulag token, the only one with the Gulag token is Bro Gamer. This is crunch time for 3 out of the 4 players.
It really is. And we only have 3 kills so far on the side of 30 bombs. Jay, again, like we talked about before, kind of struggling to find exactly where these players are hiding out to make sure that he can get some of those kills and rack up the total far enough for them to be guaranteed a victory, similar to what we saw last time, which was almost guaranteed, but not close enough for them because it was just 1 kill away, or I guess technically 2, for them to get the victory at the end of the day. But still, we got to see them step up to the plate. A lot slower of a start compared to the previous game. Okay. I mean, he'll take that, but he's getting shot from behind. I was wondering where the catch was, because he was just flying and not paying attention.
I had no words for that. I was just like, okay, you know, I'm accepting it. But Acquiesce, now with some shots from behind, has to be aware that somebody's looting one of these corners somewhere about. Oh, hello. 3-line rifle. Misses the first shot. Has to back up. He's alone, too. He doesn't have backup. Jay is nowhere to be found, so right now, Acquiesce, he could be 1v4 right now.
That's a dangerous situation to find himself in. Especially, I mean, he could also be like 1v a couple of squads, too, based on how many are remaining at this point in time. So he's just getting out there, getting to a better position, and waiting for maybe some reinforcement, maybe just a different angle that he can approach this team that's just camping it out in these buildings, looting it up, and trying to make sure that they can figure out where their foothold is in this area on the hills.
And you know, I think that's what sets Acquiesce as a player, an individual, apart from the rest, is the way that he handles these 1vx situations. Because, I mean, he's been thriving in these 1vx situations all game long, as we see him again. Nice shots with the 3-line, hits the break in the armor. Snaps over to the Arma. Nice shots at range. Will get it done for the first kill there. Backs up. And this is what I was talking about. I mean, the knowledge and power of Aqueous, it shines in his positioning and the way he's able to traverse through this map.
Spade couldn't thwart the zigzag maneuver, and instead he got thwarted himself, downed, and might be out in the comfort zone there specifically. Luckily, Bro Gamer is able to assist him. Both of them have a kill apiece, but doesn't seem enough to catch up currently to the other team that's in this game, so they still need to figure out exactly where the rest of these players are. There's a good angle here from Bro Gamer. I was just running the entire time while getting shot, not putting up any fight. Works out well for him. He'll take that second kill.
At that point, it is what it is. If you're Spade, you lose your head, but, you know, Bro Gamer, he's got stitches. He can reattach it quickly.
Wise of him also to get down low because of the sniper shot that initially downed Spade. Don't know exactly if the player he took out was the one who did it. Probably not, by the way. He was just running and not even shooting at the guy. But regardless, I mean, I've seen dumber plays from the NPCs that are out there in war, so.
What? OJ, finally some action as he's had a quiet game number 4, so he's going to light up that Jeep, immediately giving himself away. It doesn't look like whoever was in that Jeep really wanted anything to do with him. They don't know he's just solo, alone, and waiting. Spade and Bro Gamer down for the count. Suddenly, now when Spade's down, everything's riding for Chair Force 1 on this gulag. I want to take a look at this gulag if we can hop in.
It's going to all come down to this gulag. If Bro Gamer goes down here, that is the end of their run in the grand final, in this tournament itself for the DAF Gaming League. So they got to make sure they get this. They still have a chance if they can take out the competition that's in this gulag. Let's see how it goes.
LMG DP27. Not going to be easy for these fast gun fights. You want to post up immediately if you're Bro Gamer. Ronin Northstar could be the end. Flashbangs out. He's got a dance. Working all the way around. Overtime's going to proc soon. Waiting for his chance to strike. Slides around. Right in behind. DP27 has to get this one done. He's going to find out the other player. The overtime's very low. He doesn't have the health. He's not going to get the shot. C4 hits it. But there's just no time. And Bro Gamer, did he get it? He did.
Oh my goodness.
No, he did not.
Oh man, that's gotta hurt. So close. Threw out the C4, injured himself, and is it based off the health that he did not get the win on the overtime?
I think the player capped the flag at the end.
Oh no. That's gotta hurt. Well,
an anticlimactic end to game number 4.
Indeed.
Unless it looks like Jay and Aqueous have not met their quota for kills, as Aqueous is dead set on a player being inside the hut. They still have some work cut out for him before this grand final is done, but Aqueous, he's not afraid of a little competition, and he's going to find another player. 5 kills for Aqueous. That might just be it for the team.
I believe it is. I think Bro Gamer had it 3, and we saw 1 at least from Spade. We'll have to see if this is the end of it, if they can check the score, or if they're just going to go just to make sure, in case anything happens, that they have the necessary kills. He's got 5 from Aqueous, so that does look pretty solid from them. Maybe they don't even know exactly what's going on there, because we did see Spade leave the game itself. So, I mean, I think we're done here at this point in time. 5 kills from Aqueous. I think there was only at least a total of 4 from the other side. Yeah, there's only 2 from Spade. So maybe he just needs 1 more kill actually at this point.
Gamer back into the fray. Maybe a friendly buyback from a team, so they don't want it to end just like that.
Yeah, he only had 2 kills, so I believe Spade only had a couple as well, and no longer in the lobby itself. But, I mean, friendly buyback, like to see it. We'll hear on a official ruling specifically on that if the game goes on, or if they are done. But I believe we are completed for the grand final here. We saw Aqueous get those 5 kills, enough for him to overcome, and a nice down there as well. If he could get the finish, that's 100% secured, just based on how many kills that we saw from Spade. specifically. Doesn't get it, though. He's got a self-revive, so he can still get back up. But Jay, we'll see what he can do. And yeah, he gets that 6 kill. So 100%, no matter what happened at the end of it there, that they secured the victory here.
It's just style points now for Aqueous. This little return to center there hits the snipe, but so does the player on the ridge, too. So Bro Gamer's got his work cut out for him. If we are going to continue to play this one out, at least has to now deadlift his team to a game number 5. Aqueous goes down, fully eliminated, too. And because of that buyback from Jay, not enough cash to bring his teammate back into the game. So, I mean, this is definitely a chance for Bro Gamer. We've seen him put up high kill games too. So, if we're playing this out, Vaudeville, here's your chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on Bro Gamer at this point in time, especially since Jay went down as well. So, I mean, he still got the gulag for him. So, okay, we've got an official ruling. So we're not in the dark a little bit here. It is officially over. They're playing it out for fun. And I feel like that's a great way to end off the league itself. You know, they want to get everyone involved as best as they can. We might see Bro Gamer going down here. If he does, then I don't believe he has any gulag tokens remaining himself. Jay still does himself. But yeah, I mean, that is the end of it. Seymour, what an unfortunate finish, but still nice to see that they just want to finish their game themselves.
Yeah, so we'll get to watch them play out this game, and we get to, you know, see a little bit of, I guess, relegation points for them. Just a little bit of style at the end for both teams. As Bro Gamer, I mean, this is the chance that we didn't get to see from earlier. A triple kill from Bro Gamer. That was a full squad wipe. He got on 4th. The team wipe solo dolo. Where was this earlier?
That's the craziest thing about this too, because like looking at this replay, we know Bro Gamer definitely has the skill to wipe squads left and right. It's just unfortunate positioning that led to their downfall up to this point in that last game, but also in game number 2 specifically, and the previous ones. Is just there's so many players in these games that it's difficult to account for every single situation. But some players, they're able to do that to the best of their ability. But that's also why we didn't even get to winning one of these games completely for these teams in any of the actual games themselves. It all came down to who had the most kills at the end of the day for this kill race, and made it entertaining all the way down to this last game.
Now, Bro Gamer brings back Aqueous, so now everything's firing on full cylinders for this conjoined squad of the 30 Bomb Chair Force 1 team.
See, they're going for a win. I think that's what's happening here. They're like, okay, we had a good series. You guys won, but we want to get a win actually at the end of the day so that we can go home as winners, everyone. But Jay just got dropped. Yeah, I would do the same, Jay.
I thought he had him. There, but a little bit of a turn and burn, and Jay is forced out of the lobby. And now Aqueous and Bro Gamer, it's their turn. I mean, these two players, they were the heavy hitters. They were the high rollers of their teams, so let's see if they can work together and clutch up for a dub at the end of the day. Bro Gamer, a little bit of shots from the ridge. Has to back down. Not sure where that player was, but it seems like Bro Gamer, he has an idea that they're just behind the warehouse.
Ooh.
Yeah, they are.
That was risky. I mean, trying to bait them out, knows exactly where they are, but just went to a different vantage point instead to armor up as best as he could, because there wasn't really any reason to engage in that fight. But now we see Aqueous doing the same thing. Maybe he'll get shot as well if his opponent, or now teammate, I guess, trying to get a victory here, goes down almost, but really close on that one, able to stay alive.
Live pinging where the players are for Bro Gamer to have an idea. No escaping from these two. First kill going to be there for Bro Gamer, helping out Aqueous. Beautiful team shots coming through from the duo now. As Aqueous just looking to finish off that last player. You got 18 teams left here. Another kill for Aqueous, but the O goes down. A little bit of an avenging there coming through Bro Gamer.
This might be it.
His turn now, 360 behind the tree. There's two players, and here they come to shut him down. It was fun at the end to see exactly what they could do in that last game. But all in all, an incredible day of competition from these two teams. Share Force 1, 38 Bomb. I mean, two greatly skilled teams in their own respective individual skill, but we can only crown one champion at the end of the day, Vaudable. And that champion for your DAF Gaming League Fall Warzone Final is none other than Aqueous and SRTJ from 30 Bomb.
What a way to do it, too. I mean, fragged out throughout the entire competition up to this point. Aqueous just demonstrating why he was such a killer throughout the competition up to this point, too. The way that he was able to take down any of the enemies who came upon him in individual plays for the most part, too, because he went on his own, left Jay to his own devices. Jay kept him alive in a lot of those instances, too, and made sure that they could get this victory at the end of the day. Make it so that they didn't need to go to a game 5 or even into a bracket reset and get them that 3-1 finish at the end.
It was a little bit of a rough start. You lose game number 1, but you're able to bounce immediately back for 30 Bombs. And we were never worried for this team. I mean, just look at it. Aqueous, he's a behemoth. He was on a roll all game long. I mean, from start to finish, this guy is just... he's a sight to behold. I think, you know, when you look at all 4 players in this lobby... he is talented, Vaudable, and now we get to see him have a chance to qualify for Code Bowl. And, you know, if we get to see this player live in person at Code Bowl, I can imagine what kind of numbers he's going to be putting up.
This is also interesting, too, because we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, but now it has actually become truth. We now have Aqueous being the back-to-back winner of last year and this year's competition.
So that's even more. I mean, this guy's getting trophies on trophies here in the DAF Gaming League finals. For Warzone, there's no other best can be seen than Aqueous right now. I mean, this guy is crazy when it comes to competition. And I think that's just something to kind of, I guess, hold true to himself. If he's going to be playing like this throughout the remainder of these, you know, DAF Warzone League, Warzone competitions, I'm excited to see what he can do in Warzone 2. I mean, this guy, he's crazy.
I mean, maybe Warzone 2 is going to work a little bit better for them as well, because it seemed like the difficulty was once it got down to the wire in those like later stages of the circle closing. Now there's going to be like 3 different circles based on where the players are at the end of it. So we'll see how that competition mets out from there, and if he's going to be able to be a 3-time later on for the next iteration of this. But also got to give a big shout out to Chair Force 1, who made it all the way here from the LCQ, 4th seed in the playoffs, and made it here, taking out the rest of the competition to get to this point. Can't understate that. They took a game against the best, but unfortunately they weren't able to take the rest to force that bracket reset.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to mention that little revenge that they did get back in game number 1. It was, you know, tight games from start to finish. They had a blunder in game number 2, a little bit of a blunder in game 4 as well. But, you know, sometimes things don't go your way. And at the end of the day, 30 Bombs, I mean, that consistency is something in Warzone that we talk about a lot. And it's not easy to do. Go from game to game, just keep on putting up numbers like that. Not easy to just pick up and do for a lot of these players. And that is why we're going to be seeing 30 Bomb as your champions for today. They get that chance now later this month to qualify for the Code Bowl. And, you know, if they go live in person, I imagine that these two are going to be putting quite a run for the money for the rest of the competition if they do make it live in person. But Vaudable, it's been a lovely time on the desk. I do have to say, you know, this has been a fun night of action in Warzone. Any finishing thoughts from yourself?
No, it was some great competition that's out there. I mean, great showing by all these players, and that's just the way Warzone goes. Sometimes you have some great games, sometimes you have some games you want to forget and put in the record books and keep them there until they get dusty, and then you just throw them out with the rest of the garbage. But unfortunately, that's what happens with some of these teams, but we got to see the best out of both of them throughout multiple iterations of that best of 5 series. So great competition, great teamwork happening between both of these teams, and I can't wait to see more, especially once we get into Warzone 2.
I can't wait to either. Folks, don't forget Rocket League and Valorant, November 20th, 3 p.m. Eastern, here on the DAF Gaming League, and we are excited to see that. So keep your eyes out. It might be the end of your Warzone finals. We got more on the horizon. Hope you all have a great night. We'll see you next time here for some more Air Force Gaming.